This right here is beautiful Cali, California. You already know California, land of the gangbanging, where shit goes down, hundreds and hundreds of different gangs, thousands and thousands of documented gang members. It goes down right here in Cali. Now, today we shall be covering neighborhoods that overlap each other, that get confused for each other, mistaken identity. You already know with so many different gangs, obviously these names are going to overlap, sometimes even more than once. We mean with several barrios. So today we shall be covering some of these neighborhoods. So with no further ado, let's get into it. Street raised, I was brought up with a G state. Peep game, those who didn't catch one to your brain. Stay in your lane, never wolfed it, boy, I never fake. Watch them break, watch them fall, still I remain. Never change, never try to come and rearrange. Never hate, never tripping on somebody's plate. That shit is lame, leave that type of shit for the dames. The streets don't play, yo, catch up, watch your life as capes. One game, homie, that you shouldn't play. There's real soldiers in the streets gunning every day. This shit is normal in the vital part of every day. It ain't great, but I'm loyal, so I'll never change. I keep repeating, but I mean it, never lose your way. Heed the warning and the missing just for talking brave. Fuck my enemies, two faces and all the snakes. Now for this matter, just name the time and name the place. We'll get it active, fuck the gap, and I'm in face to face. We all gangsters never fold, then we never shake. I was brought up to...
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment.
Now, to find the first batch of neighborhoods, we actually have to be heading towards the area of the OC, Orange County. You already know the OC cracks, but unlike other times, this time we shall not be heading towards Santa Ana, to my surprise as well. We actually need to be making our way to the area that is known as Garden Grove. Garden Grove here in Orange County. The GG, bro. You already know it goes down in Garden Grove with so many different gangs claiming the Grove. And we don't mean Grove Street. We mean the, Garden Grove. Because you do have a gang of neighborhoods around this area. But the most oldest and largest dominant presence within this area, it is the oldest, the originators out of the Garden Grove, which is known as the Vario HTR. HTR translating to Vario, Garden Grove Hard Times Rifa. Garden Grove Hard Times Rifa is already an old barrio that has been right here, well established within the OC. Now, their territory is pretty massive because they are a pretty large gang, you know what I mean? At least from what I was told, more than 300 members to the Hard Times neighborhood. So a large neighborhood when we're talking about, this area, bro. Especially with so many different gangs around the area, for them to grow as large as they did, it says it all. But then again, they are a lot older than a lot of these neighborhoods around this area. Now, the Garden Grove Hard Times Vario, their territory extends everything that's from Habra Boulevard to Westminster. Their territory still extends all the way to Fairview Street, and from Fairview Street, their territory extends all the way to where the Garden Grove Freeway is at. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio, throughout Trask, throughout Clinton, throughout Roxy Drive, throughout all of that is what's considered their barrio, bro, which is a massive amount of territory, but we are talking about a large neighborhood in itself. You know what I mean? They don't be playing around. And obviously the heart of their hood, their domain, their dojo is obviously on Clinton. Clinton is, the heart of their hood. That's their dojo. That's their domain where it cracks down. You see all these apartment complexes, throughout the area. Obviously, that's their playground, their stomping grounds, pues, which is what's on Clinton and Sunswept Avenue. So through those apartment complexes right there, that's considered their barrio. So Clinton and Sunset Avenue, all the way in the down end. But like I said, you can find them extended throughout the whole entire area. But that's their domain and their dojo. And like I said, a large neighborhood who has no ties to the other barrio. Like I said, it just happens that way. But these neighborhoods, are dominant present. Like I said, this one is the originators out of the Garden Grove area. When people think of Garden Grove, this is probably the first neighborhood that pops up into mind because of, its history and the sheer amount of manpower that they have. They hold it down right there for the OC. Don't get it twisted. But that's what's up with the HCR, the Vario Hard Times Garden Grove. Now, to find the counterpart, we actually have to be maneuvering our way to the IE, the Alien Empire. Yes, the IE is home to the next of the doppelganger neighborhoods. To be exact, we shall be maneuvering our way to the section of Fontana. I bet nobody's surprised because Fontana is an area that cracks. It's got a gang of different vitals to it. It gets chaotic in Fontana. And Fontana is home to one of these hard time neighborhoods. Yes, it is. Which we have the Vario HTFP or HTF, which stands for Hard Times Fontana Posse or Hard Times Fontana or just Vario Hard Times. You know what I mean? It is a real Vario right here in Fontana. It has no connections to the other Hard Times. Like I said, similar names. That's just how it goes down. And their Vario it's pretty extensive, you know what I mean? They're already a pretty old barrio right here también in Fontana. They already have a cool time that they've been right here themselves. And their barrio, it consists of everything that's from Cypress Avenue. Cypress Avenue, their territory still extends to Orange Way. Orange Way, their turf still extends all the way to Toki Avenue. Toki Avenue, their territory still extends all the way to Raisling, and from that all the way to Alamira, and from that all the way to Foothill Boulevard and back around. Everything that's in the middle throughout Citrus Avenue, it's what's considered their barrio. You know, all those apartment plexes, like I said, you have a lot of homes right here, you know, throughout Arrow Boulevard and Citrus, you know, all that is what's considered the barrio. Hard Times Fontana. Now, they originally started as, you know, Hard Times Fontana Posse. You know, so it's still attached to the name, so it's still, you know, either one, so it's not a different barrio. You can say it either way. Hard Times Fontana or Hard Times Fontana Posse, that was their original full name. Since then, you really don't see the Posse, you know, a part attached to it that much, but nonetheless, a real barrio. And this barrio is not as large as its counterparts. These ones are a lot more smaller, at least from what I was told, roughly about 55 to 65 members to them at its max. So one of the more smaller neighborhoods within this area, but don't get it twisted, real individuals that do real things and still hold it down right there for theirs. You know what I mean? There's still an active bunch and still continue to maintain for theirs and hold it down for the Barrio Hard Times Fontana. Now, we'll be starting off with the three neighborhoods that get confused with each other. Now, I shall be starting with the oldest and largest one out of the three because it's the biggest one and the old schoolest, you know. For this barrio, we actually have to be traveling to the area of the OC, Orange County. You already know the OC cracks, and unlike other times, we shall not be ending up in Santana this time. But La Habra is home to one of these barrios, you know, that often get confused for each other, the home, but this is the birthplace of the original, the largest one when it comes to this barrio, which is known as the Vario Westside Habra Campo. Yes, the Campo Vario. Campo is a real barrio, you know, despite what individuals want to say and talk all that shit and all that wooty wah, it doesn't change the facts that it is a real barrio right here in Alhambra. Campo. Now, Campo's territory is everything that's from Monte Vista. Monte Vista, their territory still extends all the way to 4th. And from 4th, their territory extends all the way to Walnut. And from Walnut all the way to, their territory still extends all the way to Lambert Road and back around. Not a large amount of territory, but nonetheless, you know, it's a real barrio, and that is their domain and their stomping grounds, you know, where they hold it down right there for the Campo. Like I said, there's a lot of barrios that represent La Habra, you know what I mean? You have West La Habra, you have La Monos, East La Habra. So you have different barrios that represent La Habra. You see it up at LH, they all rep it and stuff like that, but they're all different barrios, have nothing to do with each other. This one is the Campo, and it is the largest one out of the three. You know what I mean? With a few dozen, hundreds. I was at least told that it was more than 200 members to them. And not just here in OC, but they also have, you know, turf in Mexico and other places. You know what I mean? So they did, you know, expand. And it is a real barrio that does real things right here, representing for theirs in the Campo. Now, to find the next one on the list when it comes to oldest and largest, when we're talking about the Campo Barrios, we actually have to be traveling to the Desert Empire. Yes, you already know the Desert Empire consists of areas like Indio, Coachella, Palm Springs, Cathedral, you know, Thousand Palms, all that area, you know, it's what's considered the Desert Empire. Now, to be more exact, we shall be heading to the very notorious and active part of it, which is known as the part of Indio. Anyone familiar with the area? You already know Indio has a lot of different barrios. You know, it cracks in Indio, bro. Don't ever get it twisted. And yes, Indio is home to one of these Campo barrios. which is known as the Vario Campo 48th. Vario Campo 48th is already an old barrio that has been well established right here within, Indio. Everyone knows, they represent, Southside Indio, but each Indio gangs are separate, right? So they all represent Southside Indio, but they're their own individual gangs. No different right here with Campo. You know what I mean? Campo 48 because of obviously they're located on 48th Avenue, and their territory does overlap along, several other barrios like Campo Flats and Penn West Locos, so it definitely gets chaotic within this area. But their territory is essentially on Avenue 48th. That's their domain, that's their dojo, that's where they get it on and cracking. That's where they do their activities and where it goes down. They ain't playing right here in Indio, bro, don't get it twisted. And yes, this is a well-established barrio already right here with a few hundred members to them themselves. So, they're not just they're one of the more larger sets around these parts, you know what I mean? They definitely get it on and cracking and representing for that 48th Campo and continue to still put theirs on the map. Now, to find the next Campo on the list, we actually have to be making our way this time to the opposite end of town, to the area that is known as the 805 in Turner County. The 805, you already know, the 805 is definitely cracks. It's, an area that's definitely popping. The 805 is the area that consists of cities like, city of Oxnard, Fillmore, Simi Valley, all of that, Thousand Oaks, Moore Park, all of that is what's considered the 805. And another area that's considered the 805, which is the area of Cabrero Village. Cabrero Village is another area right here in the 805 that definitely cracks and has its own gangs to it, which is known as the Cabrero Village Campo. No connections to the other Campo neighborhoods. Like I said, they all just happen to have the similar name, but they have no attachment to each other. That's just how it goes down around these areas, you know what I mean? Barrios are far away from each other. They really don't know, of each other. So, barrios tend to overlap. But this barrio is hit up, CV, Campo. So the CV, standing for Cabrero Village, Campo. And it is a real barrio that has already been well established right here. And their territory consists of everything that's throughout Cinco de Mayo, all the way to Satacoy Avenue, and all the way to Si Se Puede. So what's U Street, T Street, S Street, R Street, Q Street, V Street, all of that is what's considered their barrio. Yeah, I know, weird names for streets. What can I say, bro? That's just a name, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But yes, this is their barrio, a small territory, and it's a small gang. Out of the three Campos, it's probably the smallest one with only about 55 members to it at its max. But nonetheless, real individuals that did real things, so it is a real neighborhood, despite what individuals want to say. As a matter of fact, they even have some rappers. You can check out their music right here on YouTube and, putting it down for theirs and holding it down for the Campo right here.